Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Saratoga. Cloudy skies. The temperature will be in the low 70s. The main track is fast, the turf courses are firm, and the portable rails are up at 18 feet on both the melon turf and the inner turf. No carryover in the pick six, and there are no changes in today's first race. In the second race, scratch the 11 Control Group and the 12 Daneberry. Race 2, scratch 11 and 12. In the third race, scratch number 4, Stanhope. Race 3, scratch the 4. In the fourth race, scratch 1, Cause of Action, 5, Bronzed, and 6, Vineyard Sound. Scratch 1, 5, and 6, and note that number 4, Skylar's Scramjet, runs with cheek pieces on. In race 5, scratch the 9, Flipping Fun. Scratch the 9 out of race 5. In today's sixth race, scratch number 4, Empress Tigress. Scratch the 4, and we have a jockey change on number 3, Daisy B, to Dylan Davis. Dylan Davis is on the 3, Daisy B. In the seventh race, scratch 1, Abiding Star, 12, Identifier, and 13, Heavy Roller. Seventh race, scratch numbers 1, 12, and 13. No changes in the eighth. No changes in the ninth race, the John Morrissey Handicap. And in today's 10th race, right now we just have a couple of scratches. Scratch 13, Blue Times, and 14, Never Content. In the 10th, scratch 13 and 14. We're fast and firm here at Saratoga. We'll be back at 12:30 to recap the changes. First race post time is at 1:05. Up next, the Day 11 edition of Talking Horses with Andy Serling and Anthony Stabile.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Everyone, welcome to Talking Horses. Big A Anthony Stabile, Andy Serling on a little overcast day at Saratoga. There is talk of possible thunderstorms later in the day. Around here, it seems to fluctuate. You can look 1 minute at 70%. I just looked now, it's 30% until about 5 o'clock or later. But you never know. I might look again, it'll be 80%. It's so crazy around here.
Changes minute to minute.
I'll never forget the day that we had, I think we canceled midway through the card a few years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
That Thursday afternoon?
It was supposed to be an absolute, there was zero chance of rain, a spectacular day, and Greg and I were sitting in here at like 3 o'clock, and it was torrential rain.
Tide of the Sea.
Oh, yeah.
Tide of the Sea.
That's right. Was it
when
maiden
Mott
race?
had him.
Maiden race.
He beat Bailout.
Yeah, good call. Beat Bailout. Amazing. Bailout still a maiden.
That was 2 years ago.
Still a maiden. Titus, he's a stakes horse.
Bailout's still a maiden.
Yeah. That was just 2 years ago, yeah. So you never really know, but anyway, things look good for now. We'll talk about some of the later races for turf and dirt. We feel very confident with the early ones in, and a good chance maybe we'll get most of them in, if not all of them. You, on the other hand, have some work to do. You need to go to NYRABets.com. Now, if you've already been there, we thank you for that. But if you haven't, get over there. Use the promo code SPOT200. Do it for essential quality. Do it for the Big A. Do it for essential quality. Do it for yourself. Do it for racing in New York. We'll match the $200 initial deposit, and you will be supporting New York racing and keeping the money in the game. And the money needs to be kept in the game. No outside investors. What else do we have? Oh, you know what we got today? The low roller. Thursday and Sunday, you head over to 4-Star Dave. Those scary-looking guys, Jay and Ray, two of the nicest people at the track. I happen to know Jay well. He's not really as nice as he seems, but he'll appear very nice. Just check your wallet as you're coming over there, because he's got, you know.
Wow.
Jay's a wonderful man. $40 buy-in, $30 live money, $10 prize. But a lot of fun. Fun way to get involved.
Sure.
And have some fun. People really enjoy it. And they are good guys, and you can learn a lot from those two as well. We have the contest, the Saturday contest. Now it's tomorrow at 5 o'clock, right, Anthony? Because normally at Belmont, we'd be beginning our week, but we get that added day up here.
That says online only.
Thank you, Eagle Eye.
By the way, online
For those of you at
only.
home, if you ever make slates, green and white in a little blurb. I don't know if you've noticed.
Pastel green to boot.
I like the green. I mean, I got no problem.
You know what's
with
pretty good, though?
I think it's a lime green.
You know what's amazing?
The
The green on the television actually
Yeah.
matches the green
The
tape.
green's tape.
That's
The upper right tape?
Just in case we don't know whose TVs these are.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
on
There's
Iris.
your first great point of the day. And finally, America's Day at the Races, 1 to 6:30 today. Greg Wolf and I will be on the set to start it out. The whole crew's here. The Mig's in town, your roommate.
Yeah. Me and Mick having a good time. Do you think if I just take a piece of tape and write Stabile or Big A, I could just take the TV?
You know, Anthony, I don't want to get involved. It's day number 11, and you're already scheming how to steal televisions from here. Is the meat going that badly? Now, are you using them for your own use, or are you going to be selling them downtown? I hate to tell you, but flat screens don't cost that much, and a used one,
know.
I don't think you're getting out with that.
I know. But
I'm not either, by the way.
But listen, it seems like it's very easy to change that label. Just say Big A, and you can just take it out the door.
You know, you might want to wait till we get to Aqueduct before you start pilfering, because you are near where you live. Pilfering up here, you know, when they see you walking down East Avenue with a big TV.
It's frowned upon.
Yeah. Hey, you know, it's more. You see it more frequent in your neighborhood.
Oh, that's why I miss Queens, man.
There you
can do
have
that.
it.
You can pull that stuff off in Queens.
All right. Race number 1 today, 1 mile and 1/8. We're in a lot of mile and 1/8 races. We had some decent fields. That maiden race yesterday, and I know the Bill Mott horse got left, and obviously a disappointing trip for him. The first 2 horses in there, they got 96 buyers.
Wow.
Both.
Attentive?
No. I know Pipeline is the second
and
horse. Not Invigorate, but it's whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Somebody will text it to me. Todd Pletcher's horse that won. That was some throwdown.
96 buyer. Wow.
Yeah, that was a good race. That was a very, very good race. The second horse ran. That was sort of like Todd's revenge for the coaching club. You know, the coaching club Ramallah thought was the best horse in there and got in circumstance. I think in this particular case, Pipeline was the better horse in a similar type situation. And when that Mott horse rushed up with Joel, it really cost him the race. But an excellent performance by both those horses.
Yeah.
And obviously disappointing for the favorite. Race number 1. We'll start the conversation with a horse you have on top. I believe you have Mo Heat on top
I
over
do.
Bourbon Rising, who you have third.
Yeah, so Mohit's last race, I think, is just so much better than everything in here, save the Bourbon Rising race out of the same race, and even then he beat him a couple of lengths. I just think if Mohit comes back to that race, he's going to be awfully tough.
You know what worries me? I don't think the figure is wrong per se.
You feel like it's a little too big?
It just doesn't make sense. I mean, Mo Heat ran 20 points better. And listen, he had never been in a fast dirt track going long. But his Bourbon Rising 69, he had fallen so badly off form. On the other hand, maybe he refound that form from before. And I have absolutely no argument with you. The horse to beat is Mo Heat. He's going to be forward. He's supposed to have the lead in here. I'm going to give Johnny Pump one more chance. And you have left Johnny Pump out of the top 4.
Do it.
That's your thing. Leaving logical horses out of the top 4. How's that going for you?
I couldn't do it.
Put him third or fourth. I mean,
I thought there were a couple. I thought
Jedrick. Is Jedrick like a word? Somebody's a Jedrick. Don't you feel like that's like a?
You would, right?
It sounds like one, right?
Like
maybe
like
an orchid or something.
Yeah, right. Maybe. Like, look at this Jedrick over here.
Yeah, it sounds like I like that.
Yeah,
like
look at this
that's
guy.
like a Stabile word. That's like the kind of words you use. I have to
That's like
ask
well,
Nick
that's like
Zito
if
what
I
that's
tell you,
for.
like, look at this boyo.
Might be somebody, so we're probably making fun of
It
somebody.
could be.
He apologized. I apologize. He doesn't.
This horse is. I thought this horse was interesting.
Based
today.
on what?
Well, they ran this horse on the turf last time. Drew the outside post 10. Didn't do much running on the turf. I do wonder though. It was his first time going beyond 7. I wonder if he's by looking at lucky out of a Giants Causeway mare, maybe a little more ground. I do feel like, I mean, I feel like he's a little bit of an interesting horse here, where we kind of know what the rest of them are.
We're going to get bogged down if we go too deep. I wish you the best of luck with the long shot. I'm betting Johnny Pump in this race. There is no. It's Vindictive, by the way, was the horse yesterday. It's actually an excellent name. Johnny Pump could just be a finished product. There's absolutely no doubt about it. He has dirt races that would absolutely blow this field out of the water. I don't know if he's as bad as he was. I'm hoping with Luis Saez can be very aggressive, that he gets a more aggressive ride and he runs to his better race. I get it. He is a bit of an all or nothing, but he is no worse than the third likeliest winner of this race. So I don't mind taking him, but what should be a slightly better price than Mo Heat, who I'm a little suspect. I think his last race makes him look better than he is. Race number 2. Number 2 is a funny race because you look at these sprinters, right? You see Scuttlebuzz, who's run okay at a mile, but he's really a closing sprinter. You see Scott Chatori, who's really coming to hand, but 7 furlongs run, 1 turn at Belmont and 2 turn mile are very different races. Not to say those horses are impossible, but I've gotten more to horses that are better at the distance. Now, I prefer Cold Hard Cash in here. Horse you have third, and I certainly have nothing against the horse you have on top, and we'll get to him. He didn't break last time, and this was a race that was dominated on the front end. He draws a good rail position in this race. I actually think, oddly enough, he's turned into a better turf horse than he was a dirt horse. Yeah. And, Linda mentioned me. It actually talked to Linda Rice, and I said something like that to her, and she said, I believe that he had been entered. You see that race at Saratoga that came back. She said, I entered on the turf much earlier in his career. And now he's gone to it. I thought he drew well, and he was just a logical horse. I took him on top, but I don't think there's any argument against your horse. I think these are just very logical horses.
Yeah, I think Cold Hard Cash and Strong to Gold, both logical, like you said.
Yeah, I want to talk about one other horse in this race. Do you have Mo Faith anywhere in here?
I have Mo Faith second.
Yeah,
I like Mo Faith a little bit.
I don't know. I'd like to think that they're going to get back to being more aggressive with him. Now, I don't really want to knock Benji. I don't think those fractions, I didn't write down the actual times, but they didn't go 23:48, those made-up fractions. They do more harm than good. He was caught wide. He wasn't in there. I don't know why they decided to start rating a horse that obviously was best when he was forward.
I don't mean this to say like I don't care about the fractions. I obviously do. What I'm saying is,
He was in a bad position to get it. I'm not blaming Benji for last time. No, I'm not. I'm not. Yeah,
when the gate
two
opened-
back, I don't know what they were thinking.
Right, when he
Last
was
time
ripped all the way off that
there's nothing
slow
you do
pace.
last time. The other horse
But
broke him. You're on the
two
outside
starts
post, the
back-
inner.
Two starts
I get
back, they
that.
ripped him off a slow pace.
Right.
And he still made up, he made up some ground in the middle of that race where I don't know what happened that day. I agree with you.
Today's day to at least be forward. Not saying he has to be in front, but
He's
got to
got
be
to
forward.
lead, especially from having it's advantageous to be inside in this.
Got to be
mile
forward.
races.
Got to come out
be
running.
forward. Got
If
to be laying
Scott
first
Chatori
or
outruns
second.
the lead, that's fine.
That's
but
fine.
sit
But you
second.
have to hold your position on or close to the
and
lead.
I
You
think-
have to do it.
I think one of the reasons Jose Ortiz is having this spectacular meet is because it can't be his agent. He's clearly overcoming that guy.
I thought about, I actually thought about putting him on top, but but Strawn to go.
Well, we'll get him to a second, but I think I agree. Mo Faith, get him forward today. If he runs badly, so be it.
Yeah.
But he's got to be forward. As far as Strawn to go, we'll show his last race. He's just a super logical horse. I think he's a little dressed up by circumstance. I didn't think he did a ton of running in this race that was dominating the front end. I thought he kind of just sat in the rail and picked up pieces. I feel like the one is a better horse right now, but he's obviously got much more upside.
Yeah, much more upside. Mo Faith has beaten this horse. Now, he was coming off of a 5.5-month layoff, and Mo Faith was making the second start of his career. Mo Faith has gotten his head down in front of Strawn to Gold.
That was the race where I was in the paddock at Aqueduct with Christophe Clement, who trained Strawn to Gold, and Mo Faith went by, and we were both saying how he's the horse to beat. And I said, I think your horse Strawn to Gold's going to run really well in here. And he said, no, he won't.
when he won two starts back, he was kind of the only speed.
He had the run of the race.
And he went to the top, and I remember seeing Christophe after the race. I said, that was a really nice effort.
I watched the race with him.
I said, that was a nice effort. I said, I don't even think this horse wants to be on a lead. And he basically said, me either.
But that's what every trainer thinks, and that's what you guys think. That's voodoo. I'll take being on the lead in a slow pace on the inner turf. I mean, the reality is, the race he's won, he's had unbelievably good trips.
He has.
But he's very
And he had
logical.
a great trip last time, like you said. He kind of just saved all the ground. Original was, setting the pace.
He
the
was
other
kind
horse
of
was in a
pulled
full
along
path.
by Original
Yeah.
in that race, whereas Public Sector did more running. But he's in this field. He can win. I want to use 1, 2, 7. I think we same three horses in different order. Race number 3 on the turf. I'm going to start the conversation with Unleveraged. We'll show him breaking his maiden.
Should be 2:10.63, guys.
This is the 12 Unleveraged. This is winning $1 a 1 back in May of 2019 over Hobo. I bet Hobo. What is odd about him in today's race? Do you notice what's odd about him in today's race?
No.
That he's in for the tag.
Oh,
He
yes,
has been-
I wrote no waiver. I wrote
That's
no
why
waiver.
I asked you that.
Yes.
You had a chance to answer that,
Yes.
Anthony.
Well,
That's what we're looking for from you.
I was kind of
That's what we're looking for.
My fourth pick was
The idea that this horse is not entered for the waiver, for people unfamiliar with that, if you're off a 6-month plus layoff, you can run in a claiming tag for the price I think we ran for last time or lowest.
You can run. You can be protected for within 10% of a raise, I believe, as well.
Okay. Well,
so
they're running for 35 where they claimed him, and he could be in for the waiver, and they've had him sitting around getting him ready to race for a year. And they're hoping somebody claims him today. Michelle is not taking any chances. She wants the horse to be claimed.
Yes, it's not a great sign.
Yeah, it's and obviously something went badly wrong with this horse. He's been gelded. I don't think the problem was like yesterday with the undescended testicle of the Tino horse, that this horse, I think it's more severe. He can obviously absolutely destroy this field.
But everything.
But how can you bet him?
He hasn't run in a year.
No,
They're not protecting him. And look where he's drawn.
I put him fourth, Anthony, because I think you have to have him in there as a talking point.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, when he wins this race, you're going to go, I didn't want to bet him. And I certainly wasn't taking X to 1 or 5 to 2.
Hey, listen, he could be one of these horses
but
too.
But he could just win.
That he could just win. The other problem is, I mean, he's probably, if he wins, he's probably not going to pay.
Well, he's 6 to 1 morning line. I don't think he's going to take that much money. He's a horse.
You want this horse at 6 to 1?
Okay, who do you like in here?
I like Mystery Bank a little bit today.
Okay, have at it.
He's making his second start off of a 10-month break. His second start for Safi Joseph. He didn't have the best first quarter of a mile last time off the break. He gets a rad. excuse me, he gets the race to knock the rust off.
I didn't think anything really happened. I just thought
Well,
he
he just
dropped
kinda
him
got
back.
steadied out of there.
Not really. I'd watch it again, but anyway.
Okay.
I
I
watched
kind
the
of felt
head-on,
it wasn't so much a shuffle.
He was
Excuse me.
awful last time.
Yeah, but it was also his first start in 10 months,
I get it.
you know?
It was a bad field. Here's my problem with him, and I've got him third. He can win. Here's my problem with him.
Phil, I also feel like last time he lost his because of the stuttering start, I kind of felt like he lost his position early, and I'm not going to assume that's going to happen again.
It's fine. That's fine. My problem with him is the races he's run that are good were for Orlando Noda here last year when he was on a juggernaut. The races prior to that for Saffie Joseph and the last race for Saffie Joseph as of now are not very good. I've got him third,
fair
Anthony. I'm
enough.
not
I
against
got you.
him.
Listen,
but to me,
that's a
I thought
valid
about
point.
putting him on top.
That's
but
a
I looked
valid
at him, I'm
point.
thinking, this horse ran so well for the Nodas last year. I don't know if I want him for the trainer. And Saffie Joseph's a guy who gets him to run. And this horse has never run particularly well for him.
That's
but
a valid point.
He can win. That's the only reason I actually, believe me, I consider putting him on top. Because I copped out with I picked the kind of horse that you pick, and I just ridicule you. Yeah. So because you
I'd
look
catch
at
a verbal
Montauk.
beating for this
No,
horse.
I agree, and I thought about it. I picked it. I said, actually, the first thing I said was, I'm going to pick this horse, and I'm not going to be able to abuse Anthony when he picks this horse because this is the classic moron pick. He ran against much, much better horses last time while setting a very slow pace. So it looks like he ran this really good race in 1.25 miles. If you put a line through his last race, he can win, but he's really not that good, and he's going to be way over bet. Now, I don't think he's going to be 4-1. I don't agree with David. I think this horse.
See, I didn't
maybe
have
he's right because Cancell's on him.
I didn't have a morning line. When I took a glance at this morning line, I think I agree with
thought he
David.
was- okay.
I don't feel like there's anything in here that is going to command money. If there is a horse, it will be him.
Yeah.
Off of that fig, you see Shamrock, and I agree with that.
Is Irad riding your horse? But I don't see your horse
I
getting
just don't think
woefully
it
over
happened.
bet. I don't see how he can be under 4-1.
I don't either.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, Dante's Fire, who I have second, you have nowhere, and I'm not. I thought maybe he took a while to get going last time, and I thought maybe he could make a run in here. But I got to tell you, this race gave me a monstrous headache.
Isn't his biggest issue today? There's an apparent lack of real pace in here. And when he won, he got a good setup.
Well,
the
with
last time he
Stanhope
won.
out, Mr. Vincent and Montauk Summer are supposed to be forward, as is No Salt. My friend Steve says, by the way, and I didn't look it up. I didn't look at the races. He says those two races in Florida, the 75 and 74 for Montauk Summer, he had bad trips, and he was against the track in those races, in which case those races are much better, and his last race is more legitimate,
Right.
in which case he'll crush this field. Because if you take his last race at face value,
he can't.
he's
Lo-
going
he probably,
to win
he
this.
probably
Unless
can't,
unleveraged
he can't
remembers
lose.
the horse he was 2 years ago,
Right,
he
but-
can't lose this race. But trust me, I don't blame you for being a little bit.
Yeah.
And, you know, you've got Reckless Spirit second. I hate the race that he comes out of. I just hate that. I know I picked Dante's Fire out of it, but at least he drew the rail and he'd be a bigger price. I just don't like that race. That's
Okay.
what, you know,
Fair enough.
we'll see. This is a very tricky race.
It's a very tricky race.
Very tough to trust anybody in here. And it's not like I'm wildly against Mystery Bank. That worried me a little bit. Race number 4 was the race, and I had some big scratches today. I think I lost like 3 top choices. There were a
That
lot
should
of
be
scratches in here.
7283. I sent an updated email, guys.
7283 for
Yep,
Anthony?
7283.
I don't believe him, by the way.
I'll show you the email after the show.
Jerry, did you include the back bench?
I did.
Guys, let's go to the videotape.
I did.
Let's go to the videotape. So listen, I get it with the Queen's Jewels. I get that the Queen's Jewels is really, really suspect, though we're going to show a training stat after this that's pretty good. He was claimed for 20.
This the day you got the money with him?
No, this is his last time, I think, when he finished third.
Okay.
No, he finished third, but these are better horses, you know? I mean, Fox Red ran fine against much tougher
Yeah.
yesterday. Coppertown's a heavy favorite. The drop it's troublesome. There is no doubt there's going to be a line out the door to claim him. I went in, by the way, to go to the bathroom yesterday, one of the races yesterday. There were about 5,000 people in the off. I think it was the second race. 4 of the 6 horses, I believe, were claimed. And I said to Chris Kamak, I said, I actually thought the draw was going on. I hadn't seen that many people. And he's like, no, there were 4 claims. It was like a claiming frenzy of shakes. The whole world's going to go in to claim him. Kander Machi has good numbers in these dirt sprints with these kind of drop downs. Anthony, I don't blame you for picking against him, but you have to admit, if he runs his last race, this field's in trouble.
Yeah.
If he runs any number of his races.
If he
He
runs
also
a race,
got-
if he runs a race where you got the money
he
with him,
got
he's
the
going to
worst,
win.
Jose Ortiz's worst ride in 3 years, 2 races back, and I think even Jose would agree with that. He's got that one bad race in a mile, but other than that, he's done nothing but run well in his races, and that maybe is a bigger reason why the drop's so troubling, right?
Yeah, he's run well enough recently. The drop, because even if the race for 40 was going a mile, you could draw a line through that. Maybe he didn't want to go that far. His other mile race was okay, but Supreme Aura and Whistling Birds and Parade Field. I mean, he's running against much better horses.
But he ran well in his next 2
right.
starts.
That's what I mean. Yeah, the drop troubled me. That's why I stayed away.
But now with the scratches, he's very forward here.
He's forward.
Without.
Yes, he is.
I mean, 2 speeds came out of this race,
Yes,
and you
he is.
have Cowboy Karma. Is that because you like the name? Trust me, you kind of always wanted to be a cowboy, don't you?
No.
No?
I was never a big. I was never into like that when I was a kid. Cowboys and
Walk around with a big
Indians, right?
cowboy hat.
Nah,
Not really your move.
wasn't my. I used to walk around with a Fisher Price saxophone. Used to play Man Eater. Remember the Hall and Oates song Man Eater? Whoa, he is.
I
she
saw
comes.
Hall
That
and
was
Oates
my
play,
move.
play with the Dead at the Rainforest Benefit at the Garden in 1988.
Wow.
What song? Every time you go, is that their song?
No, that's Paul Young. Every time you go
No,
away, you take
oh.
a piece of me with you.
No, there's something. They played something like
Sarah Smiles.
I don't know. That was good.
You make my
Suzanne
dreams come true.
Vega playing with Garcia. That was really memorable. She's about this big, and he's about this big,
Yeah, Cowboy Karma's a little bit of a fresh face against some horses that I don't know. Mr. Short and Simple's the wild card in here, right?
Well, let's talk about Cowboy Karma.
Okay.
That's it, fresh face.
Well,
Right? Doesn't it bother you
yeah.
playing for 10,000 down at Lone Star? That
It does.
bothered me.
It
you know?
does. It absolutely does.
This horse.
But we've seen enough of these horses over the last 3 or 4 years
Have
come
we?
in here for
Have
Diodoro
we?
and be competitive.
Have
Sure.
we? I don't know. I got him third. I'm not against him.
Special
Listen,
Relativity is the one that comes to mind. They claim Special Relativity is like 20.
Why is he so different to you than the 9 high heater? Why is he interesting and high heaters not? Because
I don't
Diodoro
want to
wins
go.
here
I don't
and
want
Walder
to.
does
I
many horses here?
Pete Walder does not run any horses here, and I really don't want the Gulfstream horses. I'd rather have those Midwest horses. On HRN we cover these races from Lone Star and Remington, and these races in the Midwest. These horses are pretty solid.
No, I'm not saying he can't win here. I didn't think those races were very good. I'm a little skeptical. Talk about Mr. Short and Simple.
I
who
mean,
don't
what do you
disagree
do,
with
Mr. Short and Simple? You said it, Andy, and he doesn't have
Manny's got to go.
necessarily sprint speed, but he's got to go.
Manny's
in here.
gotta go.
And the lack of,
Totally agree.
when the speed comes out with the scratches, it kind of helps his cause a little bit. He's drawn inside now. He's supposed to be forward. He's another horse. He doesn't necessarily have races on his card, but there were glimpses the last winter or so where you looked like this horse might be okay. And now at a lengthy enough, he's run one time since February. Maybe he gets his act together. He finds the right bunch, and he's going to be a decent enough price.
Races 2 and 3 back can win here, Ann.
Yeah, I know.
If the 8 doesn't show up, he's a huge factor if he runs those races. Now, the problem is what happened to him last time, and we haven't seen him for 3 months. That's the concern, right?
Yep.
It's now 6
He
months since he ran those good races.
He ran for a half mile,
Right.
and he was done.
He may just not be able to run anymore. But by
But
the way,
he's the wild card because he is going to be. I mean, David has him. All right, so obviously with the
well, the
scratches,
7 and
that's going
9
to
could
change.
be completely untrustworthy
Right.
in here, and the 8, the drop down, and suddenly the 2, Mr. Short and Simple is a major player.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you.
He's the wild card. That's
Race
at
number
6-1.
Race
now.
number 5 is the one time I think we agree today.
7-1-11-6.
It's embarrassing. I try to tell him what to do.
There's 5 picks sent on the original email, and then I resent the email with dirt picks.
Anthony, I'd like to believe you.
I'm going to show it to you after. I'm going to show it to you after the.
I do believe you. I'm just torturing you.
This
I'm
is
trying. I'm
enough
supposed
of-
to be
enough-
nice. I'm
enough
supposed
of
to be
this
nice
already.
to you. Sarah yelled at me last night.
Good. Thank you, Sarah.
Because she knows about yelling
Well,
at people.
the
by
truth
the
of
way.
the matter is, though, I've been in a little bit of a bad mood, so I've been a little cranky.
You
with
have
too.
been.
I
So
have been.
Shinjuku, I know Shinjuku's awfully moto, and Shinjuku is going to be a short price in here. DePaz's horses are running. And
Boy, talk
this
about
horse,
two dirt races that would
this
just
horse's
annihilate
dirt
these
races
horses.
will
huh?
just crush
Oh,
these horses.
Man.
I like to cut back a little bit in distance.
I tried them the last 2 times on turf. It was pretty ugly.
It was a heck of a pick last time. I meant to compliment you on that.
I thought he would be forward last time.
He
This
should have only
horse
lost
was
by
so far out
13,
the
not
back,
13 and a quarter.
wasn't
It was a tough
Would you
beat
leave
back
me
last
alone,
quarter.
please? Brian Bowl walking around.
Really? Does he know where he is?
I have no idea. Oh,
started
Andy.
He's looking for the Islanders
Drop
arena.
This arena is about 190 miles that way, pal.
It's actually that way.
That way?
No, it's that way.
It's that way. I'm
Yeah,
turned around, man.
Yeah,
it's been a rough.
That's
couple
east,
of days.
that's west, that's north, that's
It's been
south.
a rough couple of days, my brother. Yeah, I mean those two dirt races. Why he's supposed to just
Well,
he's supposed to crush these horses.
You've got a field where you've got horses like and Flipping Fun's out, but we'll show you Triple Americana running third. And this was actually a pretty good field for Maiden 25, but once again, we've just. I mean, Triple Americana ran really well first time out, was wide against a gold rail, got a good figure. They bet him first time, but he's never really lived up to that race.
And he
ran
ran
okay
pretty,
second time, and he can win, but Shinjuku's just supposed to beat these horses.
He ran pretty well second time, too. He ran into a nice horse in winner's left.
Yeah.
But, boy, did he fall off the proverbial cliff,
he just
huh?
run lousy. I mean, he ran okay here, but this race was collapsing at the end.
Yeah,
he's not impossible.
He's not.
I got a goofy in here. My goofy is the 4 Mark's Humor. I know
Okay.
he's not really a dirt horse, but he did catch a wet track last time. You know, he's kind of bumped around by the 3 at the start and bounced around and stayed out after that. He didn't do a lot of running, but I thought he did enough considering the trouble. At least he's only had the 1 dirt race, and you know, I just wanted to put somebody else because I'm just sick of Triple Americano. Not that he can't win and Flipping Fun, and you know, I mean, yeah, Dutchman Forever can win.
My
who cares?
goofball is my man Jimmy Bond, Ravizol. This horse
Sure.
turf sprinted first time out. And now gets a rider change to Louis Saez.
Calls from Beverly Hills, by the way. Do you think this is my big break?
It's Rodeo
Do you
Drive,
think
baby.
this is a big break? Do you think this is it?
Maybe it's for us. Answer.
This could be it. It could be CAA calling.
Think it's CAA?
Looking to sign us up. You know what? We don't have time.
Better
for
shout
that.
out to IRS.
We don't want to leave you guys.
What if Louis just goes on a mission? I mean, there's no speed in this, right? I mean, there's no speed signed on in here. None of these horses have shown any kind of speed.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Ravizol, I think, I probably should have had this horse up a little higher. Maybe Louis the gate opens and he just tries to bottom this bunch out. He wasn't going to make the lead going 21 and change on the turf first time out with Trevor McCarthy, who's in California
It's
now.
actually more dirt. It's not a good family, but it's not turf. Tisway is to be a good turf sire,
Right.
but it is more of a dirt pedigree. I'm not going to argue with that. You know,
He's
that
the
could have
goofball.
been it. Could have been like Jethro
Andy,
heading out there.
If you did this,
Could have been the Beverly Hillbillies.
I'll never forgive you.
Yeah, it's a missed opportunity. Life is full of them, but we're not leaving you guys. But we are
Nope.
going to take a quick break to hear from our great friends, our great sponsors at Saratoga Water, and we will return with the late pick 5.
Boom.
Make business meetings exquisite. Make a weekend outing exquisite. Make a late night snack exquisite. Make a night on the town exquisite. For nearly 150 years, the Saratoga Spring Water Company has been producing the finest spring water available anywhere. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Wow, disconnected already. They have one last shot at fame. We are ready.
It was Martin Scorsese.
Marty.
Mart.
You know, he dedicated The Irishman to somebody I knew, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. That's actually a story. But
All
anyway,
14 hours of it?
it's like 3.5 hours. I saw it with Naja at the theater when we saw it at Lincoln Center at the film. He got a little antsy about 2:45 in. He's tall.
You guys used to go on these, a lot of
Naja and I did
expeditions.
some great movies together.
You were walking around something with a bunch of walls or balls there at one time?
Oh, the Richard Serra ellipses. I'm
The
sure
ellipses,
if
yeah.
you guys have never seen the Richard Serra SERRA ellipses,
That's why I was very surprised.
go on Google and check them out. They're these.
I was surprised.
They have Gagosian galleries have them. I've
Yeah.
seen them. I first saw them in '96 at DIA. I think the DIA Center up in Beacon has some permanent. I'm sure some people are familiar with them. They're these gigantic, like 15 feet high, 12 feet high. They're made in shipyards, and they're these huge. I mean, and they fill up a whole room. They had them at MoMA. They had to take the front out to move them in. They're awesome, amazing stuff.
I was surprised when you turned me down on my Van Gogh offer.
What, you knew them and we were gonna have dinner?
No, I told you I had access to that Van Gogh exhibit down in the city.
Oh.
You said you were good.
Okay.
I was a little surprised by that.
Isn't it? I thought a guy like you would say Van Gogh. Race number 6.
Read a book, Andy.
Race number 6. You see the movie, the recent movie with William Dafoe?
No.
Oh, Eternity's Gate. Oh, it's
you know,
great.
I can't for some reason.
That's a really good movie.
For some reason, since the
So is Vincent
since the
Theo,
pandemic,
the Altman movie.
the thing I can't do is think about going or watching a new movie.
Oh, I think it's
I
on
don't know what
Showtime on
that's
demand.
about.
You should watch Eternity's Gate. At Eternity's Gate, it's excellent. So let's. I liked Empress Tigress off the workout. I got to tell you, I scratched the 10. We'll show the trainer stat for the 10 first, if you guys don't mind. I was a little surprised by this. Chad Brown has exceptionally good numbers with his 2-year-old first-time starters in turf sprints. I mean, I don't know why I should be surprised. You think of him more with routers, right?
Right. I think that's why you're surprised.
What I thought was really interesting about this stat, which is 5 for 15. These are first-time starters on the turf sprints at Saratoga. So you know they're all 5.5s.
All 5.5.
He's 5 for 15 with not hitting the board with a 322 ROI. So they're paying almost $10. And he's 2 for 18 everywhere else.
Wow.
And that's a Chad Brown thing, you know, running his best horses usually at Saratoga in these turf races. They've won. This horse, you know, has some pedigree. The dam produced, I guess, was 2 for 5 in the turf. I scratched in this one over the 4. I don't mind having it on top. You have gone to the birthday boy.
I did. Bill Mott, who has won plenty of
What'd you
races
get
on
him?
his birthday.
You don't want to surprise. You don't want to kill the surprise.
I was told I couldn't get him anything.
You're jumping out of a cake.
I don't jump. And the odds are, if I'm inside the cake, I'm
gingerly
eating
rising
it.
out of a
If I'm
cake.
inside the cake, I probably would have eaten my way out of it. This horse has a ton of pedigree. Dan was 6 for 22, 6 for 19 on the turf.
I agree.
She was a graded stakes winner.
For the dam, she's bruised 6 horses
Yeah.
by the turf. 4 of them won. They were good. This horse is absolutely a pedigree play. Here's the stat. This stat scared me off this horse.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, and we're going to start talking about these races a little bit for turf in case they get rained off, and
dirt,
we're hoping it
yeah.
holds out. That scares me. First time
Scares
starting
me
turf sprints,
too.
one hitting the board, that is such a bad sign. You know what I mean? That really, really worries me. And I hear you, and I'm not going to be shocked if this horse wins. The horse absolutely has pedigree, but it is a mint of mischief, you know? Now they're saying not until 4 o'clock, 50%.
That would be great. Listen, it's a spread race for me.
And Sunday got better.
It's a spread race. Oh, that's good. Sunday's good.
Saturday and Sunday look great.
It's a spread race for me.
Friday and Saturday. It's impossible for us to have a strong opinion in
No.
this race. I actually was really interested. Joe Applebaum back in town. The
saw-
celebrities
that's who
walk
I-
by the
that's
set,
who it was.
like Brian Bowl, Joe
Speaking
Applebaum.
of the birthday
It's
boy, his
really-
birthday was a few days ago.
Joe, your birthday was a few days ago? Really? 73. Nice.
Wow.
Really, you don't look a day over 60. It's just, you know, Empress Tiger is interesting to me. You've got 2 Wesley Wards.
Yep.
One of them, Caravaggio, Her World, has to be dangerous. The dam hasn't produced much, but when you have that kind of European pedigree, it's probably a runner, right?
Yeah. I mean, you got to use both. I mean, I don't think if you're playing late pick 5, you're not going to use one without using the other.
What did you do on the dirt in here?
I
went
went
8,
to-
1 entry, 9-2.
I went 2-6-1-8-9. I went to Halo of Fire.
On the dirt?
Yeah,
Munnings?
on the dirt. Munnings,
He
draws
hated the
inside.
mud.
Say again?
Hated the mud, Bunnings. This race looks pretty good for the turf, but I mean, it's a crapshoot in the grass. It's a total crapshoot on the
Total
dirt.
crapshoot on
right.
the dirt.
Just impossible.
Because
to
there
have
are
any-
a lot of there's no form to go off of, but a lot of the dam side pedigree is turf in
it's
here.
turf, and even
Yeah.
sires too.
Yep.
And the one horse who ran, the 1A, who I put second, I mean, did no running and wasn't even really bet that day for Brad Cox. Obviously, he'll probably run better, but I agree. Well, the 7th race, I liked Abiding Star. He is not going to play.
He's not playing
but
today.
because I am telepathic, I have the race for Nick Papagiorgio.
You know where this is from?
Did you go to school with him?
No, you know what this movie
This
reference is
a
from?
win from Pimlico, by the way, in September of 2020.
Am I going to stump you on a movie reference?
Nick Papa.
Nick
give me a hint? Give me a
Papagiorgio
hint.
is
Give me a hint.
it's a series of movies. It's a sequel.
I don't see sequels.
So it's from Vegas Vacation. Rusty's name when he starts to win money in Vegas, he changes it to Nick Papagiorgio from Philly.
There you have it. I tell you, the information you glean from this show is really, it's incredible.
It's his fake ID.
To think that there are some of you that aren't members of Naira Bets, and
Stunning.
you're stealing
I
all
don't
this
know how- I don't know
information
how.
without supporting through Naira Bets, you really should be ashamed of yourself.
After
to be
you, Mr.
perfectly honest.
Papagiorgio. Yes.
All right. I agree. This horse is very logical. Turf races are just good enough to win.
Yeah.
Right? There's really not much more to say.
And you know what? If it comes off, even his dirt races are okay.
Yeah, I didn't like him on the dirt.
Okay.
Not impossible. No,
Not
I'm
impossible.
I'm I struggled here because I really did like Abiding Star, who got involved in a vicious duel last time out, and I thought he was going to be very tough to beat in here. It really changed things. Hieroglyphics, if you're concerned, he's running on Saturday or Sunday, maybe Sunday. That's why he scratched. There isn't a lot going on in here. As far as Troubling Moon, I don't know. He's just running better figures and running his better horses. He hasn't done much running in those races, to be honest, and he has to come from way, way back. I'm wondering about the pace here because Mo Gotcha's got to go from the outside. But don't you feel like somebody else going to go inside of him, like Castagno?
Castagno's the horse that probably has to.
He's in good form, but he's got to go, right?
He kind of has to go.
I think Hieroglyphics is scratched, right? Wait a second. He's not scratched.
No, he's not scratched.
Oh, he's not. I apologize. I thought he was. Oh.
Soulmate went on a mission last time and almost pulled it off at a big price. Maybe Soulmate tries to.
Well, Hieroglyphics doesn't have to scratch. It's only consecutive days.
Consecutive days, correct.
Yeah, I apologize for that.
So
I thought
maybe Soulmate goes on the mission. I don't know. Didn't
no,
last time.
I think that the 8's going to go and the 10 Mo Gotcha, but Manny's got to go outside. Mo Gotcha worries me a little bit. He's a better dirt horse, but if he gets clear, he's not impossible. Hieroglyphics, I would have had third in this race. I was my fault. I was just assuming last night when I was doing, going through things. I took him out of my picks. I took him out of my picks. No, he's entered Saturday. Today's Thursday. They're drawing Sunday today.
Saturday.
Okay, he's in there. I would be 8. I would be 9, 7, 3, 2, maybe 10. I don't know. Honestly,
tough race.
Troubling Moon is good enough to beat these horses, but he's a little slow, and he's going to need a little help up front. That concerns me. Your horse has more speed. I just didn't want to pick the same horse as you. I have no argument with him.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything special going on here. On the dirt. What'd you do in the dirt?
I went 11-7.
Oh, let's show
Zealous.
Let's show Zealous. Let's show Zealous. Your top pick.
Yes.
I found an interesting stat that doesn't apply to him. Very good numbers for the Bond Barn on my 4 to 8 month layoffs at Saratoga on the dirt. But this one's only off 3 months. You know those 122, 40 stats?
I love that stat.
Yeah.
120 to 240.
Well, they're centering around 6 months.
And remember, we promised we weren't going to say it, but this cuts back to 7 furlongs.
Right, this cuts to 7. I picked the race 9, 10, 11, 6 on the dirt. What'd you do?
11-7-10.
11, 7, 10.
Yeah.
Surprised the identifier scratched. I wonder if he's going to be entered in a race on Sunday or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I was kind of wondering about him.
A lot of guys don't like to treat their horses, too, because they don't know what the uncertainty of the weather change. This forecast changed over the last 36 hours. You feel like 100 times.
Forecast changed the last...
Yeah. So
it happens so much up here. And listen, it could change. Right now, it's a lot better than expected.
Treat the horse with laces. You can't run for 5 or 6 days. So
you're just full of great points today, Anthony.
It's tough. Wait
till that recliner comes and you really get back on your game.
Can't wait. Oh, my recliner's coming today. Thank you to Brittany over.
We got to move on.
Yeah. Thank God.
Race number 8. There is an extremely powerful Chad Brown Klarovich entry,
there is.
And I put him. I'm 1-1A, but I don't have any particular preference. We'll start with secondary market, and we'll start with motivated seller. I'm sorry, at Keeneland. This is running second to Meredith, a pretty solid racehorse herself. This is on Breeders' Cup Day, and she's run well fresh. Won her debut, won off a layoff. She's quick. She's the horse to beat. This entry is super tough. You got one with speed, one who can sit off a little bit, and they might be the best horse in the race.
We can't have 1E on the screen. My pick's here at 1A1. Yeah, they're
I'm 1-1A second.
Super tough. I mean, her first 2 races in that race, and she went to California. She chased a wicked early opening quarter. We haven't seen her now for 7.5 months. So
yeah, that is. Listen, it does have to be a bit of concern because she is a horse that's having trouble staying on the track, and that can somewhat be said for secondary market. Secondary market. Here's her race here at Saratoga, coming off of almost a year layoff, almost 11 months. And she ran terrific. And this was a very, very tough field. I mean, I would argue this is a tougher field than she's meeting in here. She was really good. I thought she ran very well. Javi rode her well, but she had to, be used from the inside, get position. These are good horses.
Yeah.
And they may run 1-2
entry. Very tough entry. I will be leaning heavily. I guess I lean heavily everywhere, but I will be leaning heavily on this entry.
A lot of people like Regal Retort. I didn't.
I put her second.
I got
really
her third. I'm not against her.
I really put her third behind the entry. Yeah, I don't know.
Her last race was good, but
I guess her
races
last 2 races were okay. She came off of a
2 back. She got a rocket ship pace.
Yeah, but she was off 8.5 months.
But she did get a rocket ship pace.
She did.
Close into.
No,
she ran okay, but I'm taking Kansas Kiss in here. One of the reasons I like Kansas Kiss is it annoys Maggie. Maggie hates this horse. She hates when I pick this horse. She just annoys her. So I thought of that, but that's not really why I picked her. She's good enough to win this race. She was unlucky in the correction. She should have won that day. Is she a little bit light in figs? Yes. But she has had some unlucky trips. She's not a turf horse. She's getting back to the right surface. And
She's
I
10
think
to 1.
I just feel like her good races give her a chance. And I just didn't want to take the entry at 3 to 5.
Okay.
It was as simple as that. I'm not against the entry, but I thought the Kansas Kiss was a viable alternative. She's good enough, as good as anybody else, and better than some, and it'll be a very square price in here. And I've always had a thing for her.
Anybody else?
Nope.
No.
How about this John Morrissey? Did this come up a war or this come up a war?
War.
This is an excellent race.
What is it good for, Andy? Absolutely nothing.
You want to give it? Isn't there like a say it again or something? My Boy Tate. We'll show My Boy Tate 2 races back, beating the mighty Bankit.
We're on to the 9th race, guys.
Rolling. Take it away. Did you call this race?
I did.
There you have it.
I did call this race. Yeah, My Boy Tate getting back to that. You see, you're going to... My Boy Tate loves his wet tracks. He loves his wet tracks, my man. 5 for 7 in his career. More wins on the wet than on the dry. Big race. Ran big. This is the day Eric Cancel won 6.
Yeah. Kendrick would rather not see this. By the way, Kendrick seems like it's a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks away from getting back.
Yep.
Love to see his tweets, see him doing well. He had that nice benefit the other night for the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation, and looking forward to seeing Kendrick back in
I was
action.
wrong about the source. I
You
wrote
are.
the source off. I thought the source was done.
You did. You did. You're a big man for admitting it.
I did.
You're a big man in general, but a bigger
you.
man for admitting it.
He's
A bigger
run well
man.
up in Saratoga in the past. If the forecast holds,
I don't
and we
love
get
the
a little
layoffs.
rain-
He certainly
I don't love the layoff
doesn't
either.
mind some moisture in the track.
Nope.
Our last buck, we'll take a look at him beating Running with Scissors in the Safe Florida Sandy. I'll tell you what bothers me. I hate it when horses get in great form and then they
And
go on
go to the
layoffs.
bench.
And Michelle, for what it's worth, on my
Awful.
120 to 240 day layoffs on the dirt off a win, she's 0 for 8. In sprint, she's 0 for 6. For what it's worth, I just hate this.
Me
I
too.
hate when they're going good in the winter and they put them away. It just seems to never. Now, I don't know. Maybe he had an issue. He is a 7-year-old. He got very, very good, though, for Michelle. Very, very good for
I
her.
worry. His most recent made the March to June, which was a much shorter layoff. He came back just fine. So I think that gives you a little hope.
This
If you're
is
like, I got
a
him second today.
7-month layoff, though.
I know it's double the layoff.
I got him fourth. He
got
can
it.
win. I've left horses out that can win.
Yeah, I feel like 6 of these. I feel like 6 of these horses can win this race.
I think I don't trust your horse, and I picked him second, and I might like him even less than that. But go ahead. I know you love. What do you think now?
Yeah, I mean, he comes out of that monster other than last week, 2 weeks ago now. Wow, that's almost 2 weeks ago. And his
Yeah.
races before that, he ran into. I mean, look
12
at the
days
horses
ago.
he's run against in his last 2 starts.
Having said that, excuse me, I didn't sleep last night. It's the worst night's sleep I've gotten since I got up here.
You should have called me. I didn't sleep either.
You know what? If I'd known, I would have called you.
You can.
We'd probably still be
Andy,
on the phone.
I'm not sleeping. You can call me.
I could at least text you and say
Trust
you're
me.
up.
Yeah, up. Yeah.
The
Yes.
problem I have is I have a feeling that fig might be 3 or 4 points high. And the only time he ran another race where he ran a 93 buyer, he had the run of the race in a super slow pace. And I'm just not sure that he's not better than like an 87 buyer, 88, which doesn't mean he can't win. But I think it makes him a bigger price than he's going to be in this race.
David has him favored.
Well, he ran that killer race, as you said. He's got recency. He's got speed. I won't be surprised if he's favored, would you? You trust the Nevins off a layoff? I mean, I wouldn't want to make a line. But, by the way, David's in town.
I know. I saw.
It's not, he
Steven.
didn't come by and say hi,
I saw his dad.
but he's here.
His dad came and said
Dad didn't
hello.
sit by and say hi either.
Well, I'm a little more visible than you. I'm sitting up there for breakfast at Saratoga every morning.
The sun shines off my head. I'm easy to find. The bottom line about this race, and we'll talk about Foolish Ghost next. Foolish Ghost may wire this field, and Joel is just supposed to be on a dead send and try to run.
Dead send.
I don't trust him. You've got him third. I could have picked him. I picked him fifth. What's going on here? I've got like things flying around my hair.
Yeah, I don't.
Jeremiah Englehart is sending me weather reports.
He can absolutely win
Take
this
that guy's
race.
phone away.
But I'm like you. I don't necessarily. I put him third for the simple fact that he looks like he's going to be loose. But do you trust him? No.
He's the speed, and he's in great form. I mean, one thing you can say about him, he is in great form. Ray Handel, I know this pains you to be involved in this conversation. Ray Handel has done an unbelievably
Well,
good job.
at least we have a
horse.
route for him. If he,
Rooting against him?
Maybe we'll get
Maybe
dinner
we'll
out of
buy
him.
that dinner?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Otherwise, I've seen him with it, like trying to scrape
He,
together the
he, you know,
cash.
he sees me at breakfast on the pony, and he waves. He's trying to duck us.
I'm not buying it.
He's
It's
ducking
an
us.
act.
Yeah.
I like Gemography. Do
Okay.
I love Gemography?
Can certainly
No.
win.
I'm going to tell you something about Gemography. Can we give a little love to Mark Hennig? This horse.
We talked
has
about this horse all
done
winter, how great of a job he
nothing
did.
But run well since Mark's taken over. Now, to
Yep.
be fair, also ran well for the former trainer. No, I'm sorry. Immediately improved, basically, for Mark. And this horse, the only race that looks like he didn't finish well in, he was involved in a wicked pace against Street Technique and Montauk Traffic. And the horse who won yesterday's second race that collapsed. And those horses are at least fringe players, if not realistic players, in the Grade 1 Vanderbilt.
No doubt about it.
This horse is an absolute model of a consistency. He just keeps running well, and he's always there at the end. He's going to be a price, and I'm looking through this race. Just keep looking through. Keep trying to decide who I'm going to pick. And finally, I just say, you know what? Why don't I take a horse that's going to be 6 or 8 to 1 that can run a race good enough, as good as anybody in here, and every time he runs well.
I don't disagree.
So I'm going to bet a few dollars on him, just on the thought that he is like super consistent and good enough to win. It's a great race.
3,
by
4,
the way.
5. I thought any combination of 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 can win
My
the race.
favorite John Morrissey was when Chowders First came from the clouds in a wicked pace with Ramon and paid like $29 or something. Phil Serpy trained him. Made a huge bet on him. I just kept, he had a big,
Flying
deep
Z.
closer. Was he Flying Z?
I thought he was.
Made that huge run to win this race. That's my favorite, John Morrissey. Race number 10. I am picking the same horse in this race on turf and dirt. I am picking the one, Some Kind of Pretty, and I'm hoping.
Big push on this horse.
Really?
Big push on this horse.
Big tip.
Got it this morning. 3 people. What do we know about the stall horse in the last race? What do we
Really?
know about the stall horse in
Big
the
tip.
last race?
So
Big tip.
You're making me nervous here. Let's take a look at Wicked Happy and Gabby Squared, the last 3 ace last time. Gabby Squared was a bit unlucky in here. You're going to see Gabby Square 2 wide, third of the back. Will get stopped right in here behind horses. And don't underestimate how significant that was, because she was just getting her momentum going, and you can't get stopped in those races, and she ended up with way too much to do. So I think she's the horse to beat in this race. I didn't want to pick her on top, but I think she and Bonkers are the horses to beat. I'm just kind of hoping that Some Kind of Pretty is a first, dropping down, good position on the rail, go forward here, get good position with Rosario, and maybe okay. But I have no illusions. Gabby Squared and Bonkers, to me, the logical horses. Wicked Happy's okay. She never wins. You're giving Hard Won another chance.
Yeah, one more chance at a big price. Listen, I want to
How
use.
big a price this horse?
He's 12 to 1.
Wow,
She's 12 to 1.
It's a big price.
I want to use like 7 horses in here, so I just decided
Off
that
the
I would
9-month
take the
layoff?
biggest one. Yeah, I know. I just wanted to. I wanted to take a
Price.
shot. I wanted the biggest. I just
The
picked
races are
biggest
fast
price.
enough to be competitive.
Yeah.
The layoff's a concern. Who'd you take? I went 110.94 on the dirt. 110.94.11. I want to discuss the 9 briefly, but who'd you take on the dirt?
I took the 9 on the dirt.
The 9 is dangerous in the dirt. The 9 looks very dangerous here in the turf, and maybe. Kenny McPeak has the most incredibly dichotomous stats I've ever seen. He is like 30% or something with dirt routers, maiden special to maiden claimer, with a 343 ROI with a lot of starters. Maiden special weight to maiden claimer on the turf, he's 0 for 30 with 3 hitting the board.
Wow.
Now, I think what it makes sense is that Kenny's a guy who buys dirt horses, and he has done a tremendous job. I don't know if you know, he picked out Curlin. Might have heard that. And he has done a great job with it. I'm not kidding. And so he probably doesn't have turf horses, but that is an incredible stat, isn't it?
Unbelievable stat.
Yeah, I was actually going to pick this horse. I can't pick it on the turf because of that stat.
All right.
All right, we're done. I hope you've had 1/10 as much fun as the Big A has had
50th.
today. You are now going over to Naira Bets. The 3 of you that aren't members.
Right now.
You're doing right. Exactly now. Use the promo code SPA200. Sign up for Naira Bets. Become a member. Support racing in New York. Play through Naira Bets. Head on over Match of $200 digital deposit. Low rollers. The lowest of rollers that I know. Jay will be there with Ray. $40 buy-in, $30 live money. You keep any and all monies you make. Also $10 goes towards the prize pool. Lots of fun. Go over to 4-Star Dave and look for Silent Bob. The Saturday contest, you still have about 28 hours, 28 and a half hours to sign up. NYRA.com/contest for more information. And finally, here's the big news. Thursday, July 29th, 1 to 6:30, FS2.
Be there or be square.
Be there or be square, my friend. Well put. I had so much fun, Anthony. I'm going to do this tomorrow. How about you?
I'll be here. Anybody got a piece of green tape?
John Kakamis has green tape. Anyhow, we're
Thanks for
done.
coming back, John.
John and Brielle up in just a few moments with a reprise of the scratches and changes.